So what we see is when you fall outside of this narrowly, rigidly defined box, right? And like we said before, like in some ways it's adaptive, right? That pressure to like get up and try again, that's a good thing, right? Kind of continue to force that and disconnect from emotions, we've seen consequences, right? From
Right.
this level of rigidity around masculinity. I don't like calling it toxic masculinity. I just
Hmm.
like to call it really rigid masculinity that has had consequences.
Right, because I mean, like when you talk about when we even say the term toxic masculinity, there's a whole population of people who then look at it. Are you telling me that masculinity is bad? And it's like that in and of itself with today in the blogosphere,
Yeah.
right? Like, right, we're picking up these terms and then we're othering a group of human beings and saying like the way you are being, like you are, or we're saying that you are bad,
Yeah.
right? We're nouning them versus they're a verb. That's the way you're being.
You
Okay.
are bad is the definition of shame. You are not enough, not good enough. So when
Mm,
I fall outside of the box, right, I have human experience that doesn't fall within this masculine box. I get called names. Don't be a sissy. And that
hmm.
what that does is puts pressure on the man outside of the box to then be back in the box. So you have to overexpress your manhood. You have to then prove your masculinity by fitting
Yes.
back in the box. One of the easiest ways to do that is through physical prowess, right? Punch that person in the face. Then I've shown my physical aggression. I've proven my masculinity that even though I have emotions, I can still punch you in the face. And look, I'm a man, right? But what
Oh,
all of this is doing is just perpetuating this, like what you talked about with like using toxic, is you're not being man enough, not being
hmm.
enough, you're not good enough. So this whole masculinity is policed by using shame.
And shame is the emotion that says, if I told somebody what I did or what happened, I won't be allowed in the tribe. You're not good enough to be in. What I notice is that within our spaces and within our communities is that vulnerability is from the outside. Is that I have routinely seen messages, evidence, heard from other men anecdotally that. Uh, Being vulnerable is considered weak,
Even from other
right?
women, right? It's not just men
Right.
policing this box, it's also women. It's cultural.
And yet, when we don't feel emotions, when we disconnect, when we harden, I think the connection that I want to make for future shows here, and that we're going to go deeper into, is this: we're disconnecting from the experience of our life. Like we're disconnecting from the felt sense of well-being in our body, and then that sends me out. I think the connection I'm making in like the aggressiveness, right? The proving of my masculinity. It's one thing to punch someone, but it's this whole other adaptive side of things that is like needing to be a certain title, needing to achieve a certain job, right? Like having to have these aggressive big goals in order to just be okay with yourself.